Good jabbo.
And guys, just an FYI, the audio might be on, I don't know. Just start sharing the video. I did. They're all on Max, dude. Yeah. Check. I don't know. Our mic live, guys. Thanks for the feedback, guys. We don't have Travis here tonight, so we're live. Do the credits.
Is it going up? All right. Anybody know what HUC stands for?
Anybody know what HUC stands for? You're live, dude. Welcome. So we've already been live. Another episode of Get Spooled.
We got mics on the way.
Oh, man. So, yeah, Corey, mics were on. We were hot mic'd in there. Oscar mic, whatever you want to call it.
Hey, a little bit of electrical tape and a little bit of MacGyver.
You know, it really speaks to
MacGyver and electrical tape.
Yes.
You could do dangerous stuff.
It really speaks to the dedication of us as trying to deliver the latest fishing, reports.
Check.
And going through what we have to go through when Travis isn't here to produce this show.
I couldn't help myself there.
Me and Preet got
thanks, Eric. I was coming
Preet and I got the same sense of humor.
Check. Did we say welcome to Get Spooled yet?
Welcome to Get Spooled, Real Fish Talk, the original social media live stream fishing report.
The original. The first, number uno.
Ernie, Mike, what's up, fellas? Eric, I just seen him a minute ago.
Man, you know everybody.
Man, everybody. So, vacation last week.
Yeah,
vacation
man,
2 weeks ago.
We could talk about scalloping, how bad it is. But you know what was plentiful? The Tito's.
Tito's vodka?
Tito's plentiful.
Nice. That's really when it comes to vacation, like when you go lobster and scalloping or whatever, priority, especially if you got kids with you, sometimes the yield of the scallops or whatever isn't the most important thing anyways,
Right. Yeah, it's I think I got our volume up a little bit here now.
You definitely do.
I kept turning knobs until it started coming up.
That's all right. We just got to make it through, guys. We got 1 hour of fish talk, and then it's chicken wings or something to eat.
Something. You're hungry, aren't you?
I'm very hungry, man.
I can tell you're hungry.
I'm very hungry.
He started talking food as soon as we walked through the door.
Oh, yeah. Corey, I wouldn't say scalloping. I mean, scalloping's just been tough. It hasn't been the greatest result so far. Jason, you were just there. Let's get into it.
Scalloping's horrible. But you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, and my name is not Captain Travis Yaeckel, by the way. I'm a lot taller, but we didn't know how to change the name, so just roll with it. But scalloping is bad this year. I'm not a scalloping expert. I don't know.
No, you're not a scalloping expert.
Not a scalloping expert. But I will tell you that when I jumped in and I looked around with the snorkel, I collected about 10 in 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I was a little hungover, so I didn't get in there and really go at it. But we had numbers from a buddy of mine. His friend goes up, and I mean, they're hardcore. He puts his boat in a marina there every weekend. He took his boat out of the marina. So the numbers we had from last year where we limited out every day, we went to them, and they had scallops. But I'm talking we got 54 scallops on 3 boats for the whole first day. And that was our best day.
Yeah.
So
how deep were you going?
We were in 8 foot of water. Okay. So I actually went out to 12, and I realized that I my ears couldn't take it, and I couldn't figure out how to blow my ears out. I tried doing it, didn't work, but there wasn't any scallops there anyways. I went down once. I could get down easy, but it's just not good. I think it's an off year. I talked to I don't know nothing about scallops, so I'm talking on my rear end to a certain extent. But the first thing I did about day 3, I was getting fuel, and I went in there. I'm talking to the local guy, and I said, "Man, what's up with the scallops?" I said, "It's horrible this year because there's too many people doing it." And I kind of was like, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I kind of got to agree with you. I mean, it's like,
well, I hear there's thousands of boats up there.
It is nothing like you've ever seen. Take tarpon season in the past on a Saturday on a weekend and times it by 5.
Where'd you go? Where were you?
I stayed at the plantation up in Crystal River. We were running south towards Homosassa every day. I don't know if anybody runs north out of there.
You can go all the way up to Steenhatchee.
You can get to China from there if you go the right direction.
My little bit of experience, the water was dirty up by the power plant last time we were there, so I'm not sure. I'm sure there's some.
From what I understand from just somebody who I know that's up there, generally those scallops like to come in when the salinity's high, and I think there's been a lot of rain. Lots of rain, which started earlier, I believe, than they're used to. So I know some folks are saying that's driving it, that high salinity is what brings them into shallow water and makes them easy to target.
Well, but you would think, I don't know. You could be right.
Because I've had a couple reports of people that say if you get out to 15 to 18 feet, they're as plentiful as you want.
At that point, you need a dive tank.
I understand that. I can't do it.
Jesus,
I can't get that deep.
And need a hookah and a dive tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be right. I mean, I hope that the numbers are down just because they moved around a lot. My buddy was making fun of me because I don't know what I'm talking about, but I was like, they're probably like fish, like they move around on the moon phases.
Yeah.
And he's like, they're shells.
Everything moves on a moon phase.
He was trying to make fun of me. I'm like, dude, I guarantee you that they probably don't move as much as fish, but they're probably like fish. They move in on a full moon or a new moon. We were drinking when I come up with this
I've never
theory,
picked a scallop up in my life.
Me neither.
Unless it was already if it was on my plate.
Yeah.
It was a Tito's theory, but I believed it. I thought it was true. I said, I bet you they move around a lot. I don't know scallops, but
full moons will do it.
Yeah.
We were there on a full moon, right?
We were on a full
moon. Right
before. But it sucked weeks before, too. It ain't like I kept saying that was my,
Well, then that's what we use. That's usually what we say. We're just waiting on that next moon.
Yeah, we'll wait on that
next moon, man. It's going to be good.
Well, is anybody out there hammering the scallops?
Yeah, let's get some reports if anybody's been up there.
You don't have to give up your secret spot, but just tell us if you're doing good.
Well, Brian went this year, and he got there 2 days early. And by the way, I don't know if you ever met Brian's kids. I got his kids.
I think I fished next to him with his kids one time.
Hilarious, like little mini Brian's.
Anyways, I think his son was on the boat.
His kids were there. We had a great time, all our kids. But so Saturday, I called Brian. I said, "Man, what's up with the scallops?" Because we didn't get there till Monday. And he said he had his kids idle in the boat. So the big thing is you get a long rope and you just stick your head with a snorkel in the boat and have somebody drag you slow across the flats until you see scallops. And then you're in a good spot. Easy way to cover a lot of ground.
I've done that lobster.
He did that for like an hour and didn't run across any. So I was like, oh, crap, here we go. So, but you know what? For me.
Best comment.
Yes, but, for me, a scalloping trip is about
if you got your family and your kids and all that,
well,
I get that.
People canceled. Like, the resort was last year, the scalloping was phenomenal. Actually, where the crowds were, it was horrible, but the numbers we had were away from the crowds and deeper water.
Yeah.
We limited out every day with 3 boats. But it was kind of surprising. We go there, and they had cancellations. People wasn't there, and I'm like, man, if you don't get scallops, does that, like, ruin the trip?
Yeah, why wouldn't you just go do some other fishing or hanging
There's
out?
There's great fishing.
Just hanging out.
Springs, I mean, I guess people get that. They're like, well, the scallops ain't here. I'm canceling. I'm like, so, it was kind of weird to me that they did that. I don't know. Maybe I'm not a hardcore scalloper, I guess. But
you're not.
No, because I got there and I said, hey, I can put my boat next to I can put my boat anywhere I want. Where last year,
if you were
down there,
if you were a hardcore scalper, you'd have been in that 15, 18 feet.
Prieto's down there following all the rat boats with towers. That's what he's doing. He's like, that guy knows.
I said, I want to be on the other side of this. I'm like, are you a guide? Yep. I was like, well, I got a 300. You got a 125. I'm keeping up with you.
Yeah.
You ain't losing me today. But no, it was a great experience. So what? We didn't get a lot of scallops, but I had a bunch of high school buddies with me with their kids, and we grew up together, and our kids are growing up together, and that's memories they'll take with them.
That's right.
Of course, getting the scallops is a bonus because you know, it's kind of like oh wow, I got a lot of scallops. You brag at the dock.
Right.
I catch a lot of fish, but I don't know. I think people get too wrapped up, even with fishing. And I used to do it. To me, I just like going on the boat. Like if we don't catch fish,
Yeah.
I'm on a fun trip, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I was happy about. My buddy Jeff knows how to drive the boat, and he knows his way around. I sat in the back seat with my cup.
Perfect.
It's a great ride back there in those seats.
Oh, it is. My
Well, I like what Travis said.
Yeah, Travis.
Less scallops to clean.
Yeah.
That was
It works out perfectly. It really does.
When I used to deer hunt a lot, that was my motif, man.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't shoot them, I don't have to clean them and gut them and mess with them.
There you go.
And I'll tell you this: the resorts are make or break by scallop season. Like I guarantee you, they were hurting because
Well, yeah.
they went
If for people that are there just for
I tell you
for
what I would have
the meat, yeah.
I would have a rule that like, okay, if you book 8 months in advance, you're gonna lose more than just a little.
Well,
bit.
what they could do is a non-refundable deposit.
Something, yeah, because
That's
I
what
can't
they have
believe
to
they
do.
actually let people cancel
Yeah.
because they can't control if the scallops are there.
Right.
And to be honest with you, the place is awesome, man. When we stay at Plantation,
Well, they might have a non-refundable deposit. I mean, who
don't think
knows?
so. I think you can refund it, but it's the best thing, Rick. You come out of Crystal Springs, you got some idle zones, which I could care less about. You know, you get going out, you do your scalloping. On the way in, we had Alex used to be with Stoll. He's got a double-decker pontoon boat with a slide, and the kids get on the slide. They're out there having fun. We roll up in the spring on the way back. The boat, for my freshwater wash down, I take my saltwater wash down and fill my tank with the spring water because at Plantation, the water's fresh.
Yeah.
It's straight, like there's a spring right around the corner. So on the way in, you go in, you're hot. You do a cannonball off the slide into the spring at 70 degrees, cool
That's
yourself
cool.
off, hang out,
What's up, Kenny?
and you go back to
So you're
place.
flushing your motor out.
Hey,
when you're
Kenny.
Flush in the boat.
Yeah.
It's always clean.
Yeah.
But it's just what I'm saying is it's an experience. Don't get so wrapped up in the scallops. If they're not there, just still have fun with it. Go have a good time. Support the local shops. One other thing I would say is that somebody that owns an ice machine selling company needs to get with the resorts because for whatever reason, I've never seen places during scallop season out of ice. How do you run out of ice during scallop season?
Ice maker doesn't work.
That would be
No,
my
the
first.
bags of ice, like 4 days. So I
Yeah.
don't know. It was kind of funny. I'm like,
A lot of people can't get the ice in.
I don't know. I'd be coming up with something.
Melts.
I'd be coming up with some kind of
You're on fire.
Melts, you know.
You sound like the guy that was at the front desk. But
Well, it
Ice
melted.
machine don't work,
Yeah.
and it melted.
yeah,
melted.
and they were out of fuel one day. That was even better. But it's about the experience, guys. Don't get so wrapped up in filling your buckets with
There you go.
scallops.
There you go.
And have a good time with it. It's a good place to go. I really like it up there.
Nice. Well, let's talk fishing. Tampa. Did you fish over the weekend when you got
I came back Thursday night, and I fished Friday and Saturday, and yesterday I had off due to I screwed my schedule up. But it was the snapper bite. I would tell you right now, the snapper has showed up. I went to Friday. Friday was slow for me a little bit. Somebody was on the snapper spots. I went to another one. We caught some snapper, but Saturday I rolled up on my numbers. Machine started showing stuff, and my machine was lit up from 25 foot to the surface. And I thought, this has got to be bait. I threw 3 baits out, and snapper went, whoo. I had them coming out of the water on the surface. I've never had snapper do that. We call it snapper. We limited out in 10 minutes, and then I just started catching them because I had them chumped up to the surface.
Yeah.
And what I thought was bait or mackerel running through was actually snapper. It was crazy. 25 foot solid.
That's cool.
Didn't get any huge ones. Biggest one we got was like 16 inch. The spot that I fished, though, it's not known for real big ones, but man, when they are there, it's and I think this full moon we had, while it probably hurt snook fish and everything else, it really got the snapper firing off in the bay. So, guys, if you're out there, start checking your snapper spots. The snook fishing's been horrible for me. Worst summer I've had in years with snook.
Just talking about that with somebody. I fished through the weekend, and the first couple of days were, mackerel, snapper, grouper trips that went okay. When the tide's slack, you're just wearing them out, and then when the tide's running, go shift to mackerel. But so Friday and Saturday were fantastic. But then I had a group Sunday that specifically wanted to stay on the flats and do snook and redfish.
Brutal.
And man, just with a slow tide coming off that full moon, and bait was even a bit of a challenge. I mean, I didn't have wouldn't say it's my worst trip, but it's one of them on Sunday. And we caught about 10 or 11 snook, maybe 12 if I were lucky. Hooked one small tarpon, but I mean, man, I just never had to work so hard to create a bite and do so much moving, chumming, not chumming, cut bait, you name it, going down
like
a leader,
Oh my God, this sucks.
There's just no worse feeling when you got 4 people in the heat. The water's not moving. You're throwing, and everyone's just kind of standing there. It's like, man, we made a lot of conversation. But the group I had was really cool. They all fish. They all understood what was going on, and it just made them appreciate each one of those fish a little bit more. So it could have gone worse,
right?
Had the folks maybe not been as knowledgeable or understand.
They were probably outdoorsmen. You can usually tell when you get an outdoorsman on the boat. He gets it.
Yep. Definitely.
You don't kill a deer every time you go. You don't kill a turkey every time you go. You don't catch a tarpon every time you go.
Yeah.
It's Mother Nature's.
But you know how we are, where
the pressure's still there,
getting us to take them fishing. So the pressure's there, and
absolutely,
just frustrating day. But they were happy at the end, and we made it work, and we saw some pretty cool things on the water. With, unfortunately, one of the snook fell victim to a dolphin.
Yeah,
came out of nowhere. I mean, he came out of nowhere underneath the boat, and just a couple feet away. I mean, felt them hit the bottom of the boat.
Yeah,
and I was like, damn, what was that? And then next thing you know.
That sucks.
But manatees like crazy where we were fishing. Saw a bunch of tarpon blow-ups.
Again, sometimes it's about the experience. People get wrapped up, and trust me, you will want people to catch fish more than they want to catch fish, because I tell people, and I know you guys do the same, it's like when fishing's tough, I'm working way harder than when it's easy.
That's right.
When I roll up and fishing's going easy.
Yeah, just flipping fish off the hooks.
Yeah. It's good. When it's work, like I've gotten frustrated this summer because I think on our shoreline there's more pressure this year. I think there's more guide pressure due to red tide in other areas.
Probably.
I don't know.
I'm seeing a lot of
T crabs, which there ain't a T crabs on the South Shore.
Yeah, they coming from the south.
Yeah, and I'm not real sure why, which is okay.
Yeah,
but it's
because if the story was if
it was the other way, we'd be down there.
We'd be down there, right?
So I'm not beating them up, but it's just a lot of extra pressure on fish. And I mean, we say this time of year, Rick, James, there's not as many spots. There's a few spots that hold a lot of fish.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like in the spring, there's 20 spots that hold fish where you can just bounce around, or even late summer. It's not like that right now. The flats are, I mean, if you don't hit them at the right times, they're dead zone.
Mm-hmm. One thing's for sure is that, like in the summertime, I've got a plethora of places I can go and hit in different regions of the bay that would typically be still areas, right? Like but when you get that high water, those fish want to stack up in there. Now they're in there, and I know they're in there, but if you don't have water that's moving, you can forget it.
Well, do y'all try to promote mackerel and snapper and stuff this time?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Snapper,
I try to steer everyone.
I try to get them on mackerel, sharks, and snapper.
Well, here's the problem I'm having with snapper. Like we hit our limit, Rick, in I'm talking like 10 minutes. Like I had 4 people, and the rule on my boat is that the rule's gray, so I say aggregate of 10 because that's what it says. Even though some people say you can keep 20.
All right.
10 max. So we got our 10. So then they're like, let's go do something else. I'm like, it's snapper not fun to catch? Like,
right.
we got them chummed. We got 100 snapper chummed at the surface.
Yeah.
And so, like, the other day, I was like, all right, let's go try to do some snook fishing. I've actually resorted to running north some, and it's still not good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to run north again tomorrow. When the bite's tough, to me, you can't keep doing the same thing. Today, I ran across a bunch of snook, and I was the only one fishing. They didn't want to eat. We caught 2. There's probably 50, 70 snook sitting there. So I relate some of that to the backside of the full moon, but we're kind of far away from that.
Yeah. So you Rick, you've been consistently doing the kids camp, it seems like, and I can tell you that's got to be a challenge because you're not dealing with your everyday outdoorsman client who might understand. You're also dealing with somebody they can kind of lose interest quick. So how are you? What's your plan? To produce that more consistent bite.
I got them for 5 days.
Right.
So last week day
Same
one,
kids.
same kids. the last day one was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we caught like 8 fish. You got 4 kids to catch his 8 fish in 4 hours. It ain't good.
Right.
I just, luckily I have them all week. That's the upside to it. So day one's always like a orientation kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the week, last week, the one kid, which I actually have him again next week, and I had him last year, and he's fished with me since with his dad. But it was kind of cool because he says, "Man, I told my mom that this year's fish camp was not like we was going fishing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we was going catching."
Right.
So, but the kids, what I do with the kids, and we talked about this before, is different than the average charter. Now, if the average charter gets on and says, which I had weekend before last, they get on and they said, "Hey, we just want bent rods."
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's great because that takes the pressure off of us. If you don't want a 30-inch snook and you don't want a 30-inch redfish, which this time of year we're going to grind to do that.
Yeah.
And you just want bent rods and have fun,
Mm-hmm.
hey, man, let's go catch snapper, mackerel, shark, ladyfish, jacks, whatever. If you just want to catch, and the kids are good with that. They don't mind just catching.
Right.
So, and I think I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. I had the one kids camp 3 or 4 weeks ago that one day they said, "Look, we want to have a houndfish tournament."
Yeah, you told us that. Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't never tried to catch a houndfish.
Did you get them?
Yeah, we
Oh,
caught
we
like
got 'em.
9 of them.
Nice.
What?
Yeah, we
No, you did.
I swear.
The Whisperer.
Yeah,
The
I'm the
dog.
houndfish.
The hound
whisperer.
dog.
But yeah, no, we went and found some. Well, I knew where they were because they've been bothering us all week. But we took little hooks and
That's impressive.
broke little baits. Baits in little bitty pieces, and
Needlefish or houndfish?
Hound.
needlefish. Same thing, isn't
Same
it?
thing.
No.
Yeah. No, the houndfish a little bit bigger,
Different.
right?
Houndfish are big because I caught a houndfish.
Okay,
about
well,
this
I
long,
stand
and I
corrected
didn't know
then.
what a houndfish was.
And they stink like
Yeah,
crazy.
needlefish stink too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
but-
thought they were the same thing. Okay,
no,
so
I think they're different. I think they're like same but different.
okay, we had
That's what I'm like.
we had a needlefish tournament.
A billfish tournament.
It's
It was an
billfish.
inshore
It's
billfish
an inshore billfish tournament, and we
I like
boat
how Rick got into it.
Hey.
You want needlefish?
we boated 9. I had the flags flying.
So let's ask our listeners: is a houndfish the same?
I
as a
thought it
I
was
don't
the
know.
same
I really don't know. I can tell you this: I caught one that was huge. I'm talking like this.
at the Spoil Island.
Yeah, and I remember
I
people
s-
making fun of me because I never caught one. I
Yeah.
fished my whole life. I said, "This is the biggest needlefish I ever in my life." And somebody says a houndfish. I said, "What's?"
I
a
thought it was the
houndfish?"
same thing.
And I didn't know. That looks identical, but I think they are two.
I know in the
do have
islands they
bigger
get
eyeballs.
bigger.
Yeah, they
So-
do.
Well, maybe they're not the same.
Sometimes out at Egmont,
Well,
you'll
we
see
had
the
a-
big ones though.
This first
Like
time
we
Yeah.
we had a needlefish tournament then one day. So
Right.
my point is, with the kids, they were having. I mean,
yeah.
that was awesome.
bending the
They
rod.
were just having a no. The rods weren't bending.
Yeah.
We were catching, but the rods never bent.
Rick, you were the man. You were definitely the man for that charter.
The rods were.
But my thing is, if they're having
Are we
fun,
talking about needlefish?
Yeah, we're talking about
if they're having fun, I'm having fun. You know?
Well, if you guys need
Just
a,
for a disclaimer here, guys,
Yeah.
we typically
Backside of
don't target needlefish on our charter. This is
It
what the
just
kids want to
happened.
do. When you're doing the kids deal, it's all
Yeah.
a little different.
Yeah.
And, Rick is a catering man. He's just catering to the client.
Dude, I love taking the kids. I'm telling you, I love it. I do. I
that's good, man.
I had fun with my kid. I did it for 1 week. I don't know.
you
if
were
anyone-
good. I fished next to you one day. You were good. I kept a big ear that day because I'm like, I'm gonna see how
I had him doing
how
push-ups.
Jason does this because I did not think you would have the
I got kids,
the patient. Yeah, I know, but you and Travis did good too. I thought Travis, boy, this is gonna be tough for Travis.
Yeah.
But he did great. You did great. I'd never really fished. Well, I did fish close to Travis, but I never really fished where I could hear him. But I was listening to you, and you were joking around with him and having a good time, and they were joking back, and it was
Well, you know what got odd for me on that trip, Rick, was not odd, but it was just different. I had a kid that called in sick for 2 days. So the third day, they had a fill-in kid. and he was real shy, and the other kids all knew each other. So
Hey, Debbie.
I was really working to get the other kid to fit in. Like I was joking with him, but I was light on him. With other kids, I was a little heavy on the jokes. Like like they missed a fish. I'd give me 2 push-ups. Like,
Yeah.
Like I had him down. Like I wasn't playing. Like, but
Or Sergeant Prieto.
I took something to heart when I talked to Travis. Travis like, you got to set this. He's like, the first day they were running me over. You know what? And I thought,
Travis had jail.
well, yeah, you got to set the standard with the kids because usually, and it's different from a regular charter where their parents are there, so you kind of just cater and let the parents do the parenting. Well, you're not really the parent, but you're the adult.
You're it.
You and you got the kids all week, so I did hear some horror stories with some kids, but besides that, it was. I had a good group of kids. They were fun. The one day we were catching bonnethead sharks. I don't really care to catch bonnethead sharks.
There you go. Look at Jace just came up with a plan for you.
Oh,
That sounds pretty good.
Charters coming soon.
But yeah.
Dude, I'm
Fish
down.
charters.
Yep.
I'm down.
We're gonna have to buy that domain tonight.
We're talking about this heat though, and kind of like that slower bite.
Get that now.
Go get your domain.
Needlefish.
But that slower bite, I don't want to scare everybody from the flats because this actually this second half of like the summer is one of my favorite times to redfish, and I've actually been sending out some emails and some texts to some of my folks who really enjoy the red fishing, because when I get those high hill tides, those late summer hill tides, and it starts flooding some of these zones back there, you can really, if you can locate some redfish and you can get them on that tail end of that
Dude, if
incoming,
they get excited about that, I'm telling you, go get the redfish, get them out of the way,
and do the hounds
take them straight to the needlefish.
straight to the hounds.
Dude, I'm telling you.
I can, yeah. I mean, I need a second plan because it's usually only a couple hours of redfish.
And approach it as a tournament. Say, hey, we're going to have a competition here.
Put like a little skins game out there or something.
Yeah.
Needlefish skins game.
Well,
fins and skins.
The
You just can't touch them.
Or they're starting to show up. I think with this cooler water, with the fresh water.
Yeah. That's usually my signal for where I'm at.
I didn't catch any today. I tried some spots that I haven't hit in a couple years, but I did really good, and the tides were right, and that was a bonehead move on my part because we didn't catch 8 fish, and I wasted an hour and a half. But
we should start seeing the schools though in August.
Yeah,
That's
I
when
thought
they
I'd
start.
seen one other day.
Did
but Jeff, my buddy Jeff, fished down south. He caught 12 reds, some small with shrimp though. So guys, don't be afraid to use shrimp. I tried to get shrimp this morning, and they were out. I was gonna get 2 dozen medium.
Shrimping's been tough. I haven't been able to get any this whole week.
Yeah, shrimp's been tough. So, but the reds are starting to show, and while everybody wants to look for the big schools as we do, I tell you what, I'd almost rather sit in a spot if I know there's redfish there and catch them under the trees because it's just easier than chasing a school. When the school's good, it's great, but when it's not, it's
well. When you're chasing a school this time of year, one of my challenges is, and I know cockroach in that South Shore area can get like this too, is sometimes that water gets high or the water clarity isn't there. Up by me, it's just dark from all the fresh water.
Yeah.
It's like a, tea color is keeping a beat on them. Like if it's great if they're pushing water and they're blowing up baits and you can see them really well. But if they get down and it's like 3.5 feet of water and you can't see in the water, it can be a challenge chasing them around.
Yeah.
So I'd much rather pin them up against the shoreline or a place they're going to stage. And that's why I say that those high tides let you do that. In that first half of that incoming, that's when I want to go on a flat out front trying to find a pod of them. But I have way more success when it gets high. When we get like that 2.5 tide or somewhere in there and I can hit up some shorelines, tons more success. And I got to do that for the first time in a long time last week. I mean, we had a really solid day. I had one guy
fishing them under the bushes though and around the bushes.
Yeah, and generally the thing about those redfish is they're in the bushes. Like when you pull up, they're in the bushes. But as you're chumming,
you're bringing them out.
So that's one thing I do. I was talking to my customer about that the other day. Is I'm telling them like they're in the bushes, and I'm like, you need to make your cast to start into the bushes. Yeah. But I'm throwing my chum 10 feet off the bushes. I'm not feeding them in there.
See, I throw my chum in the bushes.
Not me. Not for this. Like for snook and some other stuff, I would. But for this, I need them to pull out so they really get feeding. And once they pull out, it's every bait. I mean, it's boom, boom, boom.
White bait?
Yeah.
See, I've my buddy Jeff, man, like he used to live up in Mirror Bay, so he would text me. Like, I shoot him some spots in the bay. He'd go check them out. He'd just go out for a few hours of shrimp and wreck it.
Yeah.
I mean, wreck it, And I'm
Ronnie
like,
Harder
I'm
used
not
to
getting
do that.
shrimp. There's
Yeah.
bait everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think there's so much bait right now. I think that something
Plus, they can
different.
smell them shrimp.
Well,
and
Well,
they
the
like
thing about shrimp, too, if
crustaceans
you flip
anyway.
them under the trees with a little split shot, they're going to stay under the trees. Where a white
They're not
going
gonna
to
move,
come out and swim.
Yep.
And
So you're saying there's so much bait everywhere. I'm going to places to do this where there's no bait.
yeah, that's a good idea.
So that's the opposite. When we
find a place without bait.
Ken Hickman,
Yeah.
who does that Florida Pro Redfish
Yep.
series, he did the that 2-day live bait Redfish Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
And I flew back in from Puerto Rico last year, the night before, like Friday night before the tournament was going on. And the guys I was it was just a fun tournament. The guys I was fishing with are like, well, what are we going to go do? I was like, I just got back from 10 days of being in Puerto Rico. We're just going to get in the boat, go catch bait, and see what we can make happen. Well, we had a good day, but I come back and everybody struggled. The only guys, and most everybody was out of hooks there in Ruskin. The only guys who did well on that South Shore were fishing shrimp.
Really?
I didn't find that out the day until the tournament was over, but that was the talk. All the folks who did well on the South Shore fished shrimp. Where I don't think shrimp would have done anything. In fact, we were talking about the other day. I was like, these are live bait fish. They want to see live bait. They never get to see it. I want to take it to them. So,
Well, we're talking about how snook fishing haven't been real good, and I think something's got to do with the full moon, and the red fishing's good, and we're doing snapper. Recommendation I tell people is, if you want to catch snook and it's not good, but the snapper bite's going off, do what's hot. Even if you're going on a charter, like, we're going to take you to do whatever you want, but we're going to be up front with you and be like, I caught, 5 snook the other day, and I worked my tail off for it, where I'm usually catching 20 to 30. Snook is usually in the summertime in previous years. Not a big deal. For whatever reason this year, it's just tough. And what I've noticed, too, this year is where the big snook typically are, they're not there this year. And then the other places, there's some, but it's just weird. And it has to be, common denominator is red tide. We didn't get red tide in the bay, but it's obviously affected some of the patterns and shifted these fish around this year.
in numbers.
Yeah, but my point being is, like today we went up and we jumped a juvenile tarpon today, and the guy's like, man, we should have done this earlier. Problem is where I'm getting the juvenile tarpon, there's no bait, but you got about 45 minutes.
Yeah, you can't
to an
stay
hour.
in there with.
No, it's like an ending day trip
Yeah.
because I told the guy, so if we'd have went in here this morning,
Your
there'd
bait
been
would have
more
died.
fish showing, but you can't. There's too much fresh water right now. But we jumped about a 15-pounder, and we had a few blowing up on chum, and it was great. He's like, man, this is awesome. I just like seeing it. We had one skyrocket after a bait, and so you just got to go with what's hot, and take what the bay gives you at times.
We had a needlefish do that. He come flying out.
Skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Tail walk.
The Dustin asked a question. I know he's one of our fly guides that always tunes in. He said, "Do you ever have more success with arty shrimp over bait on any given day?" I would say this
Yes.
time of year you can.
I have.
Well, I mean, throughout the year, yes, of course you can. But this time of year,
Now,
I think people.
Dustin, are you talking about a fly presentation arty shrimp, or are you talking
No,
about
artificial shrimp. He's talking about arty. Like he'll have some clients that come out on the boat and he
Yeah.
pull them and let them sight fish or fish arties.
I've never outdid live bait.
I have with gulps.
But it's in my head. I know that if I'm using live bait,
Dustin, let me make sure I'm clear. Are you saying artificial shrimp over artificial bait fish, or artificial shrimp over live bait fish? So, but I'll say artificial shrimp.
I have with gulp.
Gulp, like that is a really good one. Or any heavy scented shrimp, you can even throw on. You can even take a DOA and load it up with ProCure if you need to. But I think what it is, it's like that lazy fish syndrome that's going on right now is like that scent and a slow presentation and lingering it in front of a fish. Especially for redfish, I don't think they can refuse sometimes the scent if it stays in front of them long enough. Like you'll even hear people in artificial tournaments this time of year when we used to have them talk about dead sticking with an artificial bait, and that's just taking a gulp, putting it out there in front of a fish and not doing anything with it. So
I've never caught a fish like that.
I have. It's just the
Tried
worst.
it. I've never. I was like,
It's the worst thing in the world to do.
I feel like
It's
I'm
miserable to
I
do,
feel
but-
I'm useless.
There's times when that's the only way you get one to eat, though.
Yeah.
I've never caught one like that. I'm not saying it don't work. It just don't work for me. Jace, I will tell you, you're talking about a whole different area. I think Crystal River, the little bit of time, I put some time in there this year between fishing and IFA, and them fish just react different for the simple fact they don't have millions of whitebaits swimming around their head and people throwing batfuls of chum. So I think them fish are going to be more apt to hit artificial.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. I talked to a guide at the marina on the last day, 150-pound tarpon at Pete's Marina, eating trout carcasses, almost hand feeding them.
Where's Pete's Marina?
Pete's Fuel Dock or Marina. It's right around the corner from Plantation. I think it's Pete's Marina. But anyways, we're fueling up, so I walked to the back, and guy had a mess of trout. And, 150, 120 pounders. Just they hand fed one.
Yeah.
Just right there in the marina. But anyhow, I asked him, I said, you guys have more snook than I ever imagined here when we pre-fish. He's like, yeah. I said, you catch them? He's like, yeah. I said, you get them on pinfish? He's like, no, we get them on white jerk baits. So they hit artificial. Yeah. Which a white jerk bait imitates a greenback pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I'm sure pinfish work there, but there is pinfish on the flats out there. You'll be running 30 mile an hour in a tower offshore, and all you see is flashes.
Glitter.
Pinfish. So it's, I would think at a certain time, they're probably tired of pinfish, like our fish get tired of whitebait.
Yeah. That's when you take a banjo minnow.
Banjo minnow, I remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
How many people remember the old banjo minnow?
Yeah.
You remember the banjo minnow?
If you haven't caught a fish on a banjo minnow.
Dude, they ate them up like crazy.
Yeah. They still sell them. They have like new versions of them and stuff.
Yeah, you can get them online, but I don't think the
the
banjo minnow is still in business.
The one from the infomercial?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, Dustin, I mean, to me, artificials right now is really understanding what those fish are doing and when you're trying to present a bait to them and getting the right cadence. I think that this time of year, one of the big mistakes, and kind of like the dead of winter, is moving a bait too fast. Mm-hmm. And I'll even see that with live baits. You'll see a few chummers hit, then you put a frisky bait on there, and they don't get it, or they're constantly short striking. Like, how many baits, when you guys have been live baits, when you've been snook fishing lately, come back where they got that snook lip mark right on the second half of their tail? Well, people missing fish all day.
That's the hardest thing with the kids is get them to leave a bait.
Right, and even with leaving the bait,
when we catch snook, those snook better be active.
Yeah,
because they ain't going to leave a bait out there long.
Right,
and it's hard to cut bait most spots because the catfish are out of control.
Out of control,
crazy.
So
there's more catfish at Weeden Island than I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
more catfish in my dock. I didn't think come out of the water.
There's catfish everywhere. The bay's just floated with them right now. You should be on the middle.
Well, I mean, why can't we get game fish like that?
I know.
That mullet.
Because
I'm like, man, if I saw redfish,
nobody keeps like catfish. That's why.
If I seen redfish, I seen big schools of mullet, I'd be a heck of a redfish. But you just got to go with what's out there and roll with it.
Yep.
So I don't know. What time is it?
We're getting close. We got about 10 minutes. We got about 10 minutes.
What?
I had a catfish eat a plug last week. You know what, Steve? I wonder if I know where you're fishing, because when I've been out there, and this is quite a few years ago when I was trying to stretch my reach in the bay and get to some of the places I hadn't fished a whole lot. So I'd probably say 8 or 9 years ago, and I was in a polling skiff at the time, and with somebody, and we're washing this huge push on this flat. And there is baits in front of it, like scampering, like trying to get out of the way, and they're breaking water, diving out of the water. And there's just rolls behind them, like, man, I know we need to get over there. Those are the signals that you just can't ignore. I'm thinking I've got a school of hundreds of redfish in front of me. Rolled up there, and I had a Miradyne on, cast it in, boom, instant hookup. Rod's doubled over pulling drag. And I'm like, and I tell the guy on the platform, I'm like, hey, cast in here. He casts in there with a paddle tail. Boom, same thing, doubled up. And I was in that. Yep, all right. There you go. So we're doubled up, and I'm like, oh, man. And I didn't have a power pole on this, but I'm like, hey, put the push pole down. Dude, pull in. I got these 2 catfish, both of us, like Mogan. This big Mogan catfish. This school of catfish was hundreds of fish blowing up baits. Looked exactly like a school of redfish. Never seen anything like it.
Nice.
I mean,
They were identifying as redfish.
they were identifying as redfish. Yes, they were catfish identifying as redfish. So, yeah, it was just a funny story. As soon as you said that, Steve, I was wondering about that. But yeah, that was. I've never seen that before, where they've schooled up like that. I've been able to catch catfish on any artificial you give me. I can get one on, especially redfishing sometimes. But yeah, that day was just nuts, man. They were blasting baits. There's birds working the baits. It was crazy.
I've never seen a school of
Me neither.
catfish do
We
that.
got to cover some stuff for the store.
Oh yes, we do. That's a perfect,
See?
Big sale.
huge sale.
Good work there, Jason.
Nice, Jason, because I started to get in my catfish talk, and that's where we're going to go the rest of the show. That's how fishing
I was
has
trying
been.
to get the GPS numbers for the Capt and catfish hole.
I know, but seriously, we're under strict orders. We got to talk about this sale. If you haven't seen the Tampa Fishing Outfitters Facebook page, or you don't follow it, you need to follow it, because that's going to keep you in tune with what's happening at the store, what events are going on in the store, what's new in the world of fishing tackle. But this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which I think is the 26th, 27th, and 28th, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just confirm those dates. If the computer would get going. Confirm those dates for me.
26, 27, 28.
Should be Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Yeah.
right? Yep. There's going to be a huge
Yeah.
tent sale at Tampa Fishing Outfitters, 3916 West Osborne Avenue. There's going to be some deals, man. I think Joy, the manager, rented a 40 by 40 tent outdoors,
Oh, wow.
in addition to what we'll have in here. But when I tell you, you probably can't get a deal on a fishing rod like you'll see this weekend, I mean it. Like, everything is going to be getting moved out there, and there's going to be a lot of fishing rods from Daiwa, Cajun Customs, G. Loomis, Shimano. All these rods are actually going to be priced probably lower than what the store originally paid for.
Really?
I mean, 60, 65,
So they're just
50% off. Yeah,
making room.
Making room, because, I mean, you can see the store's grown, and there's been so many great brands, and there's all these fishing companies popping up, and they're trying to have the selection of everything they need, but you know, you get so much.
Real
Some of
estate.
it's got to go, you know, especially with what was seen at ICAST. Yes, Joe, new Stratix are in. Bull Bay rods, there's going to be a deal. Let me cover the deals right now that I know offhand. So first off, always popular, cast nets. Any cast net in the store, humpback, joyfish, bait buster, doesn't matter. Any size, any mesh, any net in stock is 30% off. So that's right off the bat. So a $200 net, $60 off. Or wait, yeah, $60 off.
Double checking his math.
Double checking my math. Building combos in the store, 20% off. So if you pick out a rod and a reel, 20% off the combo.
Wow.
That's huge. Yeti stuff is going to be at like wholesale prices. I saw the guys taking down all the Yeti coolers from the rafters today, and they loaded up all pallets and took them in the forklift to the warehouse. So every morning they're going to bring them out on forklifts and put them in the tent. But wholesale pricing on Yeti, I don't know the exact percentage off, but basically whatever we paid for it, you get to buy it for the same amount. Yes, only at the Tampa store. Daiwa is a brand that I know the store is really overstocked on, not because of the quality of Daiwa, but just because there's so much of it in the store right now. Joy told me the discounts. They're crazy. Like, I know we're doing the 20% off if you build a combo. I want to say it's an extra 10% off if it's Daiwa products in general.
Wow.
That's any Daiwa Saltus, Daiwa BGs, anything new.
Get you a BG. The back bay BG, great.
Yeah, there's going to be some sale on the fly stuff. You'll have to get with Keaton or Chris, man. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm trying to shoot from the hip here. But yes, it is at the Tampa store. If you're somebody who likes to stock up on lures, there are going to be so many baskets of lures out there for $1, $2. I mean,
That's awesome, because lures have gotten outrageous.
they have.
Expensive.
Like,
They sure
yeah.
have.
I mean, a Mirrodine's like, what, $8, $9? Something like
Yeah,
that?
I mean, there's going to be so much.
Everything's
So
like $4.
I wish I could cover it all, man. What else do we have?
Just come and hang out.
Yeah.
Find some
Any
deals.
eyewear on sale?
Any eyewear? I think there's going to be some. Yeah, there's going to be some deals and some promos on eyewear. Apparel, I think, is 40% off.
Wow.
So if you can wear it, shoes, shirts, socks, waders, outerwear, performance gear. We've got shore markers. Listen. I wish I could list every item we have that's going to be on sale, but
we got to go eat soon.
Yeah.
And we got about 5 minutes, so we can't list everything. So you just got to drive over here and take our word for it. The sale is going to be off the chain.
Guys, if you, like I said, follow the Facebook page for Tampa Fishing Outfitters, or call the store if you got a question. If there's something you've been looking to purchase and you want to get it, call the store.
Plugs.
Find out what it is.
Justin nailed it.
Lots of catfish plugs. Actually, plugs that'll work on any fish. To be honest with you, redfish, catfish,
sandals?
Shoes, sandals, bathing suits, fishing line, leader. There is a sale in Shimano rods, I believe. So create a combo. Yep.
Nice.
Both, man.
What give us the dates again?
26, 27, 28. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday
of
this weekend,
like
July. Yeah.
3 days.
Sure.
So
4 days.
Fridays 9 to 6, 9 a.m. 6 p.m.
No question.
Saturdays
Dumb question.
9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday is 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Poor James is trying to be serious with me and you on the.
You guys make this job so much harder than it has to be.
I'm just trying to be. No question's a dumb question.
No, hey, yeah. Well, no, the only dumb question is the one you don't ask.
Right. So, see, I covered it all. All my questions.
One-out hooks, Eagle Claw, cannot find. You know what? Probably you're gonna have to call on that one.
Some tridents.
Needlefish flies. Yes,
man.
needlefish flies will be stopped.
Dude.
Come in and here. You know what? Let's give out Dustin Pack's cell phone number so he can answer any needlefish fly questions.
Do y'all have?
How about
do you
Captain
have?
Rick, aka Needlefish?
But he's on fly.
Do you have one-out hooks there, Eagle Claw, buddy?
Oh man, we got so many one-out hooks. I'm sure there's an Eagle Claw.
There's so many hooks.
There's 100 different Eagle Claw types of hooks. Most of them we have, and most of them we have in one-out. So definitely check us out. Debbie, come on in and check it out. All right, any last-minute questions before I sign off here?
And we go eat.
Check.
No, but fishing's good, guys. Don't let us fool you. I know it's been we all had a frustrating day out of the last 3, but fishing's still good.
Hey, if you want to book a charter with us, that's how we make a living.
Yeah.
We're full-time guides. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cap Beer, start with you.
Yeah, local.
I'm looking at you, dude.
I know what you're doing. Local Knowledge Fishing Adventures, 813-625-2067, localknowledgefishing.com.
Killing me.
Capitan Jason Prieto, Steady Action Fishing Charter.
Oh.
813-727-9890. And Big Country. Give
Real
it to
simple.
Hey, Needlefish Extravaganza, 813-601-2900. Come get your houndfish with me.
Yeah, 813 needle.
It's not about the fish or the scallops. It's about the experience.
That's right.
Yes, he does have a promo through the rest of July. Only if it's on a Saturday or Sunday.
Yes.
And he does doubles on needlefish. So
Nice.
yeah,
All right, guys.
we can do a group event on needles.
You have been listening to.
If you had never tried it, you know.
You've been listening to
Get Spooled
Fishing, sponsored by Tampa Fishing Outfitters. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Till next week, tight lines.
Monday night. See you guys.